Well, the infamous Electra Townie has gotten that much better, folks. The new Townie Go, exclamation point, now is a Class 2 electric bike. That means thumb throttle, pedal assist up to 20 miles per hour, a lot of really cool new things and features with the new Townie Go, all for under $2,000. So let's get into the Townie Go, learn all about it. Today we're talking about the Electra Townie Go. It's packed full of new safety features and has all of the standards satisfied with UL certifications, the 2849 and the 2771. On top of that, it's gonna have lighting, extra visibility, a lot of really great things that we're all asking for when it comes to riding an electric bike around town and riding them safely. Of course, it wouldn't be a Townie without that flat foot technology. And for those of you that know, you know. And the rest of us, what is the flat foot technology? Well, that's the ability in their design of their frame, the design of the bike, to allow you to always be able to get a flat foot down on the ground. The rider's position allows you to always get a full leg extension while you're pedaling, all while maintaining the ability to keep a foot on the pedal and drop one down to the ground while still being seated. Now the Go is an aluminum frame and fork. It's very comfortable and smooth to ride while maintaining that stiffness that we like to have in our bikes to not feel like jello when you're rolling down the road. Now Electra will be offering the Townie Go in both a Class 1, 2 and a Go S, which will be Class 2 and Class 3. So depending on where you live and what your local restrictions are, you'll be able to get the right one for you and not be breaking any rules along the way. The Townie Go will come in at $1,999 and will have an estimated range of about 50 miles. Now later on in our ride impressions, we'll reflect on battery percentage and mileage estimations that we got. The drive unit will be a 500-watt rear hub motor from Hyena. This has 60 Newton meters of torque and does use a torque sensor. So it will have really good, comfortable pedaling characteristics that complement the rider well, helping you to get up those steep hills with ease and to cruise around town on the flatter stuff even easier. This system will be paired to an integrated 520 watt-hour battery. And when it comes to charging, the Townie Go will be using the new Easy Mag charger, and just think of a magnetic charger on your phone or something similar, and no more needing to open up a charge port cover and fiddle around with your plug to get it to fit in right. Again, just get it close and let the magnets take over. We're looking at about a 5.5 hour charge time for a completely dead battery. Additionally, and something I'll mention later on, is due to their new junction box, which is a whole new wiring harness that's color-coded and labeled. It's located on the underside of the stem there. That is, again, color labeled, and you can quickly plug in and unplug in the different electrical components. So if you happen to be going to an area, or maybe your area doesn't allow for a Class 2 electric bike, you can unplug that throttle and remove it from the handlebars and not have to deal with any issues or any headaches along the way. There is a nice new color LCD display that comes with this Hyena system. It's very bright and makes it easy to know how fast you're going and what pedal assist mode you're in, as well as how much battery you have left or overall range that you can expect. Wrapping up the specs here on the new Townie Go is a microshift Mezzo 8-speed drivetrain and Rush hydraulic disc brakes. At that $2,000 price point, I think the Townie Go really has a lot to offer, especially if you are looking for a more recreational focused electric bike, you know, big swept back bars, a comfortable saddle. Additionally, the Townie Go does come with those paint matched full metal fenders and a paint matched chain guard, so it really wraps up the look. And the Townie Go comes with that rear rack, which is a MIC HD rack, so it has a weight capacity of up to 55 pounds, which is more than enough for most kids in a carrier, if not for a very heavy pannier bag. We do have a very nice headlight located up front and a rear light that also doubles as a brake light. Additionally, it triples as turn signals. So we do have full functioning brake, running, and turn signals on the rear light, which I think is awesome and a great way to add that extra visibility when you're out on the road. All right, well, getting out for a quick ride, I would pair to the Trek Central app, but that is paired to the FX Plus One right now. So I'm just running Strava just to keep track of the ride. the bike is off. You have that flat foot technology, so feet are a little in front of you. You're able to sit really upright. Nice comfortable posture. You really could just sit and ride like this for hours on end if you wanted to. And for those of you concerned, you know, the bike's just over 50-ish pounds, so when it dies, heaven forbid it happens to you while you're riding, mid-ride or something like that, how is it gonna be riding with the bike off? Right now, we're in, I think, third gear of the 8, flat ground, you know, a little grade here, but pretty much 0%. I'm cruising 9 miles an hour and pedaling around just fine. I feel like it's really comfortable. And again, could ride like this for a long time. Now that might change when it gets into the hills, but I feel like it has a really tall first gear, so should make pedaling pretty easy. Now, of course, we are a little bit more interested in how it does as an electric bike. So let's get into eco here. I have 79% battery, 45-mile range in that eco mode, and you know, 6th gear right now, cruising along 15 miles an hour. It's a very comfortable ride, and I think something a lot of you would really enjoy. And the thing I'm noticing up front is this bike's really quiet. Like, eco mode, can't hear the drive unit at all. These really big balloon tires are really smooth. They soak up all of these little cracks very well, and they roll very quietly, which you know, maybe that's not important to you. To me though, I really like that. All right, well, let's check out that throttle mode. Now that is separate from the rest of the modes. So it's gonna have its own range estimation and throttle mode. If you are paired to that Trek Central app, it will show you a specific range estimation just for throttle, but it gets going up to speed really easily with that 20, and it's going to hold there on this flat ground effortlessly. I'm going to get around this corner here and talk to you a little bit about how that throttle control works, because it's something that I appreciate. Now, when you come to a stop or low, you know, close to a stop, and you hit that throttle, there's a gradual ramp up. So I've just seen way too many times people at a stoplight or a stop sign, especially on a hill, hit that throttle and the bike takes off from them. Never looks pretty, and someone maybe is getting hurt. So it's nice to see brands catching up, Electra, Trek specifically, adding this kind of ramp up to that throttle, a little hesitation. Even while pedaling and hitting the throttle, it still does that hesitation as it switches over. Now, another thing I want to mention, since we're talking about the brakes and holding them, as well as the throttle, is the cutoff that is built into the brake switch. This isn't uncommon for electric bikes, but it's just definitely something nice to see here. So if you're cruising, using the throttle, and something all of a sudden is in your way, and you don't let go of the throttle, and you grab the brakes, there's a cutoff in there. So it's a good way to just prevent you from kicking out with the power if you have the brakes on. Kicking up from eco into mid, getting up into a higher gear. This thing really feels great. I feel like I would suspect most people would probably be riding in that mid mode, as it's got a lot of support, but it's not going to drain the battery as quickly. We'll turn here and check out that turbo mode. All right, now into turbo, starting at 10 miles an hour. So these bikes do have a torque sensor. So if you're just gently pedaling, it's not gonna race you up to 20 miles an hour, even in high mode. But when you push into it, it's really gonna pick up the speed. Earlier I mentioned my phone up here and how you can use the Trek Central app. Like I said, I opted to run Strava for this ride just to track it. But what's cool is they are giving you the quad lock mount. So you push in, pop it out. If you have the case or the adapter, which they have like a sticky adapter that they provide when you buy this bike, that just screws into the stem there and lets you just pop your phone in. There you go. Sometimes it's a little tricky, but yeah, holds it really well. I use quad lock in my truck and on my desk and nightstand. I use it for pretty much everything. So I already had the case. It's a great way to keep that secure, and I have zero question of whether or not that phone is gonna fall off there. It's on there secure. They do a good job. And for those of you paying attention, earlier I called out some numbers on battery percentage and mileage. Might have to scroll back if you forgot, but right now we're at 72% battery. I'm in the high mode and I have a 21-mile range left. But what I wanted to bring note to is that as a class 1 bike, it's a pedal assist up to 20 miles per hour. And the throttle, it's gonna cut off and teeter right there at that 19, 20, 21, kind of balance in between there. Pedaling, as you can see, pretty flat ground. I'm going 20, I'm in that eighth gear, 22 miles an hour, and I am not pedaling hard. Again, torque sensor, if I were to push into this and I really want to race, I'm doing 26, 27, and that's sustainable for a little while. And the reason I bring this up is that they will have a class 3 version that you can get. If you live in an area where class 3 is not legal or not allowed, honestly, getting this and being able to cruise at 20 plus legally based off the class ratings, I think that is more than enough and plenty to have you enjoy your time. I just want to talk about the Trek Central app real quick. It is a very cool app. I have struggled with some connectivity issues and just pairing a bike. Once it is paired and once it is going, I've had zero issues. So it could just be my phone, a random, cross compatibility with different updates at the moment. But if you feel like you get this bike and you're having issues connecting to the app, just head down to your local dealer. Another benefit of buying into the Electra Trek world is that you get that support with a really large dealer support network. Now, initial thoughts and takeaways on riding the Townie Go here. I don't think that for myself, the Go S with that class 3 rating would be high on my list of need to get. And especially if I lived in an area where class 3 wasn't allowed, I wouldn't want to push it at all. This bike, as it sits with the class 1 rating, goes plenty fast enough. As you saw in the riding, in high, on a flat ground, I was pedaling 24, 25, 26 miles an hour without putting in a lot of effort. I will say that as a torque sensor electric bike, the torque sensor ability is a little bit in your favor as opposed to riding a mid-drive with like a Bosch or a Shimano drive unit. It definitely helps you more than I think those torque sensors do, but definitely not like a cadence sensor exclusive bike where you can just ghost pedal and cruise along. Thankfully, you do have the throttle, so if you're not looking to pedal, hit the switch and cruise along as long as you want to. As far as general comfort goes, riding a Townie is always going to be comfortable regardless of who you are. Just think the Townie story speaks for itself with that flat foot technology and the general design and geometry of the bike. That's half of the problem of finding a comfortable bike, is a good fit and a good platform to ride. The other half is how does the bike itself, once it's built, actually ride? And I think this bike does a very good job. I rode on some rougher ground, some kind of blown up old pavement. It's a little chattery. You can hear the brake levers kind of chop around a little bit, but I wasn't chattering in my voice or feeling my teeth chatter or seeing my eyes flicker. It soaks it up. And I do have my tires aired up to the higher end of the max rating for air pressure. But if I were to air those down a little bit, that same road would be that much more smooth. But you're not hearing bolts and the tins and the fenders and all those things rattle around. So that's always a great thing. In terms of comfort though, very comfortable saddle. You can really get that seat to exactly where you need it, and the bars have a very comfortable pullback. I Know that some people like to roll them a little bit forward on that beach cruiser style. I don't like extending my wrists, so I tend to roll them back a little bit more. But you can choose and set that bike up to fit you the right way that you feel comfortable on it, and everyone's gonna be different. As far as power goes and subsequently the braking to control that power, this Hyena drive unit is absolutely fantastic. They've done a great job. It is super quiet. I was cruising along, combination of the tires, brand new chain, and being in eco mode on really smooth pavement. I had to double check that I actually had the bike on and wasn't pedaling off. Getting out into those hills and really putting in the power, you can definitely hear that drive unit begin to whine a little bit, but you're gonna hear that with any electric bike. As a whole though, very quiet and plenty of power. I would say the same thing about the Trek FX Plus 1 that we previously tested. This drive system does a very great job, and I have found it to be very efficient as well, specifically when you do have the right tire pressures on your bike and you're pedaling as you would with a torque sensor style bike, just really having the drive unit help you pedal as opposed to just milking that throttle. And when you do just exclusively ride with the throttle, you're gonna see a much lower estimated range. But if you're just beat bopping around town, 2 miles here, a mile there, that's gonna be plenty enough to get you through a full day and then get home to charge back up. Again, braking and controlling all of that power, I'm actually really satisfied with these Rush brakes. I haven't ridden them before, but 180 millimeter rotors front and rear, really smooth, 2-piston caliper, good brake lever actuation feel. I've been very satisfied. I went from not knowing about these brakes to genuinely enjoying them. I haven't had any squealing or any grinding noises. They seem like a very quality brake, and so far in my riding have done a great job at keeping my speed controlled. Well, there it is, folks. The new Electra Townie Go and the Go S, if you're looking for that class 3, Electra's first Townie with the throttle. I think they absolutely knocked it out of the park. I think the Townie speaks for itself. I keep saying that, but it's true. Everyone knows what the Electra Townie is, and they're familiar with the overall geometry and aesthetic of that bike. So now you get all of that into this new design. It's a fun bike. If you're looking for something to really cruise around the neighborhoods or maybe bring on vacation with you, throw in the back of an RV, it's gonna be under the load capacity limits of most bike racks that can handle electric bikes. Less than 60 pounds overall. I think it has a lot to offer and is really gonna be compelling to a lot of you out there looking for a new electric bike, especially if you are a little bit older. I think this is gonna be a great bike to check out. So thanks again for watching. Leave any questions or comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think of the new Townie Go? Is a 520 watt hour battery with no option for a range extender a deal breaker for you? What do you think of the new Easy Mag charger? I think that's pretty cool. And is a 500 watt rear hub motor enough power? I think it's been plenty enough power, but hey, we're all different. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you in the next one.